by 2.
Uh-huh.
So that the sign goes with it. What is -8 divided by 2 or cut in half?
4.
It is -4. Then you square it. Now, when you square a negative, you're multiplying it by itself. So it becomes positive.
16.
Yes,
16.
16. There's your answer. Number 3, unfortunately, puts us in the land of fractions, but that's okay. Grab number 3 here. All right, so number 3, -3, you divide it by 2. Keep it as a fraction though. So that's -3/2, like that. That's step 1.
Hmm.
Step 2 is to multiply it by itself. -3/2 times -3/2. That's 9/4.
Uh-huh. So then 2. Okay.
Okay.
4.
All right. So we're going to look at number 4 next. Number 4, 5, 6, and 7 are all what are called perfect square trinomials.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect square trinomials. There's nothing perfect on this planet, but we somehow
Found something.
found some, well, humans did. Humans, we err a lot of ways. Perfect square trinomial. So what does that mean? It means that if you take the square root of the last number and you take the square root of the first number, this is x, this is 6, and you squeeze them together, multiply them together, that's 6x. And then if you double it, does that give you the middle term?
Double. Then you get yes.
Yes. Now you might argue, what about the negative? And then I would say, well, when you take the square root, it's positive or negative. Okay, so here's how you do this problem. Let me just reframe it for you. But that's sort of the check. You're going to write in parentheses, you bring this operator down. The square root of x squared goes here. The square root of 36 goes here. And you put a squared there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's your answer.
Okay. Makes sense. Yeah.
So we're going to do 6 next. We'll come back to 5. We'll put it right next to 6 because I want you to see that it is identical, except for that it's the same process, just different numbers.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
What is the square root of x squared? Just like over here, what's the
root x squared? That would be x times x.
just x when you take the square root of
Okay.
it. Just like over here, the square root of x squared becomes x, square root of x
Oh,
squared
okay.
becomes x.
And
You bring the
then we would
minus down,
subtract, and then 81. 81
square root of
divided.
it, square root of 81,
That would be 9
9 squared.
squared. Okay.
Okay. Now, do you
424.
remember the first step that we did up in problems 1, 2, and 3? What was the first thing we did here? We took 10 and
We divided 10 by 2.
like this 8 divided by 2, and then this divided by 2. Now I want you to look at this real carefully. What is 12 divided by 2?
6.
Ooh, maybe that's better. What's 18 divided by 2?
9.
9. So that's another way to do it.
Okay.
All right, let's look at number 5.
First one, number 6.
So I'd like you to try number 5 on your own here. You do
Mm-hmm.
have enough information from these two problems to see if you can get the right answer.
100. Okay. Take x plus. Let's see here. Okay. We divided 81 by 2, we got 9 by 20.
So I'm looking for what goes in parentheses, Josh.
Mm-hmm. 2, 10, okay. So we put 10, so it'd be x plus 10.
Yes, perfect.
Oh, that's right, 10 divided by 10, okay, yeah, okay. I just realized that 100 would also be 10, and 20
Right.
would be 10.
And so, that's the point, is the square root of 100 is 10, and 20 divided by 2 is 10.
Okay. Makes sense. So it's like a double checkpoint to,
Exactly, right? We feel better when we have a double check, right? We can
Mhm,
verify our answer.
okay. X squared minus-
Okay, so this one, it's the same situation. We're either going to take 7 and divide it by 2, or the square root of 49 divided by 4. Now let's look at the square root of 49 divided by 4. We can take the square root of the top and the bottom. That's 7 over 2, which is the same.
It's down
So that means in parentheses here, it's x minus 7 over 2 squared.
4, 49. Square root of 9 over 4, 7, 2. Okay.
All right, so we're ready for number 8. Take a breath here, because it's about to get way more difficult,
Mhm,
unfortunately. So you have to solve by completing the square. Okay. And
okay.
this is not set up well, so I'm going to kind of set it up slightly differently. And then I'm going to add in a rectangle and a rectangle, or a square, if you will. Okay. So we need to
Mm,
figure out what goes in that square. And you're like, well, how do I do that? Right? How do I figure out what goes in the square? Well, it's not too bad. It's the same thing we've been doing. You have to take this -6 and cut it in half.
okay.
What is -6 divided by 2?
-3.
Okay. So you divide it by 2, and then you square this number.
Mhm.
What is -3 squared?
That would be 9.
+9, yes. So that's what goes in the boxes here, +9, +9.
Okay.
Now on the right, we can add these numbers. Let me know when you get caught up to here and give me the result.
And then, okay. Have it down.
What is 7 + 9?
16.
16, good. Okay, so now we have a problem where I'm just going to rewrite it just to kind of get it written a little better here, a little more compact. Our goal is to solve for x.
Hmm.
Okay,
So it was
so
16.
to solve for x here, we're going to take a square root of both sides. But when you take a square root, it's plus or minus.
Mhm.
Plus or minus. So this becomes x minus 3 equals plus or minus 4. Square root of 16 is 4.
Okay.
Okay, now there's two situations here. There's x minus 3 equals 4, and x minus 3 equals -4.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And
So,
to solve these, what will you do?
like, which one will I choose?
You have to do them both. There's no
I have
choice.
to do them both. Okay. So I guess we would subtract 3 by both sides, or
It's already subtracted. So how do you undo
okay,
subtraction?
we would add 3 by both sides.
Yes.
3 equals 4 plus 3 plus 3. X equals 7. Both sides. Plus -4. So then that would be 4, 7, x equals 1. Okay. -1. Okay.
Right. Any questions on that?
Mm, no,
Okay.
that was for number 8. Okay.
So I
Very
believe
good.
that takes care of that first page, but I do see a page 9, a problem 9. Is that
Oh, did
on the back or
the
not? I can't tell based on the way they came in.
see for quiz
Or is
28.
that, Oh, no, I'm sorry. There is a 9. There's an x squared plus 10x plus
Mhm,
equals 11. I'm sorry. I didn't catch that.
It's okay. For the
All right.
other quiz would be second page.
I see that. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'm seeing here. We got x squared plus 10x equals 11. Right. So just like the previous problem, I'm going to draw this big square, rectangle, depends on how good I draw it there. Okay. I want you to look back at what you did in number 8, what we did in number 8, and I want you to tell me what goes in parentheses down here. It's
Okay.
basically the same process, different numbers. So it's like whatever you did in problem 8, you'll do here, but you'll apply it to new numbers.
So we divide it here. So x plus 5 square that 25. 25. Okay. And then 11. Yeah. And assume that's plus. So then 36. Okay.
Right,
So
hang
that's
on. You're
30.
going, you're going too far. I want to just confirm some steps here.
Okay.
Okay. So what goes in parentheses down here?
That would be x plus 5 squared.
Okay. And then what number goes in the red? You said it
25.
correctly. Yeah, plus 25, plus 25. Okay, so I like that you were like, hey, I'm going to keep going here. Why not? Keep going. See if you can solve it.
Mhm. 16. And then check. Square root. 5 equals 36. Divided all of that. Okay, so that is 6. Okay, so we got 6. And then this 5 equals this. And then x, 6. Check the part. X equals 1. And then x equals 1. So would I have both sides x equals 1?
Nope, you got to subtract 5 from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And one's positive 6 and one's negative 6.
I think I did the -6 wrong.
So yeah, if you make them both x plus 5 equals 6, then you're going to get the same answer, but it should be -6 minus 5.
Should be 1. Negative
Well,
1.
6 minus 5 is 1. You have
Mm-hmm.
$6. You pay something that's $5. You have $1 left over.
Mm-hmm.
-6 minus 5 means you owe someone $6, and then you owe them another $5.
It should be 11.
Yes, and we think of owing as being negative, being in debt, or we're a slave to the lender
All
every
right.
time.
X equals 1, X equals with negative 11. Okay. X equals negative. Okay.
You got it down?
Mhm.
Fantastic. I'm going to take just 30 seconds here to adjust my chair.
Mhm.
But we can start with the next one here, 29. Is that right?
Mhm. Okay.
Okay, give me just 30 seconds and we'll get going on that.
Okay.
All right, I am back. I've got 29 up, or number one on 29 up.
All right.
Could you read the instructions for us, please?
Write each quadratic equation in standard form.
Yeah, good. Now, standard form is the following. X squared plus bx plus c equals 0. It means that all terms, one side, usually the left is sort of preferred. We read left to right. And then, 0 on the right.
Hmm.
That's kind of related to
Equal
one. But
equals
then,
is that a 0? C equals 0,
yes,
right? Okay.
yes. And then the other thing here is that it's in what's called descending order.
Hmm.
And that refers to the exponent. X squared is bigger than x to the 1 is bigger than no x.
Okay.
Okay, so for this problem here, we're going to move the 4x left by subtracting 4x. And it goes after the x squared. So the form is x squared minus 4x minus 11 equals 0.
Mm-hmm. 4x is 4x. Uh-huh. Okay. Put this up. Okay.
All right, so that's it. That's it for that one.
Okay.
Let's look at number 2 together here.
Mm-hmm.
So there's always a choice whether to move something right or left, meaning like you could move the 5x squared left, which is okay. You can also move the 15x right and the minus 21 right. And the reason you would do it depends on like what you're ultimately doing after this. Like if you're solving, using graphing, lots of reasons. So we don't have any of those here, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm going to suggest we move things to the right. Minus 15x minus 15x. Add 21, add 21. So on the left, it becomes 0. On the right, it's 5x squared minus 15x plus 21.
Okay. All right.
There's a small problem, which is that 0 is on the left. We really don't like 0 on the left. So we'll just
Mm-hmm.
move it right. We'll just rewrite it here, putting 0 on the right.
Okay. 15x plus 21 equals 0. Okay. Okay. All right.
Okay, that's it for number 1 and 2. I'd like you to try number 3 on your own.
Okay.
And I'll check your answer here when you're done, but take a minute or two and see what you can do on that.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. 7 squared 7 is 15. Minus 6x, 7x. Just be with x minus Uh, okay. Yeah. And then squared. Okay, I feel like I have it incorrect.
Okay, go ahead and tell me what you've got.
X squared minus 20x equals 10.
Like this,
Mm-hmm.
minus 10 or equals 10,
Minus 10.
minus 10. Okay. So before I answer you, before I say, okay, right or wrong, I want you to look back at this problem here. You see there's a 15x, a minus 21, and a 5x squared. And our answer contains a 5x squared, a minus 15x, and a positive 21. Do you see that I have exactly the same numbers, just different signs in the answer?
Mm-hmm.
Same thing in the previous one. Does your answer contain an x squared and a 4x and an 11?
Mm-hmm.
There's no changes. There's no changes. So your answer cannot contain a 20x and it can't be x squared.
Mm-hmm.
So let me help here. Let's add 7x squared to the right.
Oh, that's what I did wrong. Okay.
So on the left, it's 7x squared plus 10 minus 13x.
Okay.
Is this in standard form?
No,
No, it is not.
we would
Okay.
have to switch the 13x and the 10.
Yes. So it becomes 7x squared minus 13x plus 10.
So that's square. Okay. It's 10.
But then we want the 0 on the left or the right.
The right.
That's correct. So we're just going to move that 0 over there to the right.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Any questions on that?
No, I just made a instead of I did subtraction instead of addition, so that was my mistake.
Yeah, and it also looked like you tried to combine some things. That's okay.
Yeah.
Uh, all right, so we're going to move on to number 4, 5, and 6. And the nice thing about 4, 5, and 6 is, well, at least for 4 is already in standard form. This is already in standard form on the right here. Okay. Now I'm going to write standard form below it. Ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay. So a is the number in front of x squared. B is the number in front of x. And this is the other number.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to look at what's here and tell me any of the values for A, B, and C. I'll take any
Okay.
of them at this point. It's
I
just an identification. There's no math to do.
don't really know for A, but I would assume it's 1 for A.
That is correct. Because there's really a
1.
1 when it's not written.
And then for B, it's 2.
It is not 2.
Oh,
There is a 2, but what about this symbol right here? What does that mean?
oh, it's the -2.
Okay. How about for
Yeah,
C?
-2.
How about for C?
7.
Okay.
Okay. All right, next one. 5, 4, 7. Yeah.
Okay. So do the same thing with the next one, but for the next one, you have to first put it in standard form.
Mhm.
Okay. So you can't you can't just say, oh, it's 5, 4, and 7. You have to actually put it in standard form first. So I'm gonna grab,
Okay.
just give me relay it a little bit here. There's the snip. So on the right here, I want you to put this in standard form.
5x plus 7. And then what was it up here? AX squared plus BX plus C equals 0. Okay. So what is in front of AX? It's 5. And then that's 4. And that's 7. Plus and plus.
To clear what I'm asking, I want you to write 5x squared equals 4x plus 7 in standard form like we did for problem
Yeah.
2,
I
basically. It's a lot like problem 2.
yeah, I would assume you just want me to write underneath 5x
Yeah, yeah,
squared,
wherever. Yep, 5x squared. What
and
else?
then I put 8x squared plus bx plus c.
No, we're moving terms, Josh. The only way to move terms is to add or subtract.
Mhm.
Okay, let's go back and look, because I mean, we did this. We did a bunch of these. Let's go to number 2. How did I move the 15x? What is this underneath the 15x?
You subtract.
Okay, because it's positive, right?
Mhm.
And here it's subtracting, so I add it. You undo with the opposite sign.
Okay.
So if you're trying to move 4x left, is 4x positive or negative?
Positive.
So how do you undo a positive?
You subtract it by itself
Yes,
and both
subtract
sides.
4x. Now it doesn't
And
go with 5x squared. It can. It's not a like term.
mhm. Uh, 5x squared. Okay. But we subtracted 4x. So do we now cancel
How do you,
4x since we
you
subtracted it?
well, the 4x minus 4x goes away
Okay.
on the right side, but but now on the right is just the 7.
Mm-hmm.
Is it
7
positive or negative?
positive.
So how do you undo a positive?
Subtracted by itself.
Good. So you
Then
do
you
that on
get
both sides, nothing to combine it with.
4x 7. Okay. And then I would assume we would do the same thing for 5x squared.
Well, no, 5x squared is already on the left. Or
Okay.
it's already, everything's now on one side.
Okay.
Okay,
Equals
so
0.
now since everything's on one side, you can now identify A, B, and C.
Mm-hmm. So that would be 5, -4, -7. 5, -4, -7. Okay.
All right, now my concern is that you don't really understand how to move things and don't know why we're moving them. If I'm
Yeah,
wrong, say so. Okay.
I
Okay.
don't really.
That and that's fair. And it's not a slight on you. It's just you got to say, hey, Matthew, like, I don't really understand what we're doing.
Mhm.
But go ahead and get
Okay.
this down and we'll keep going here.
Okay. Have the next problem
All right, so here's the
written
next
down.
problem. Yep, here we go. Next problem. I want you to focus on the equal sign because there's stuff on the left and there's stuff on the right.
Uh-huh.
Now I'm going to make this easier, simpler. Is it better to move one thing or to move two things?
Okay.
Like physically, think about physically, like you can either move one couch or you can move another couch and another couch. Which would you rather do?
I would say move one couch.
One couch. So how do we move something that's negative? How do you undo subtraction?
You would do addition.
You add, yes, you're going to
Okay.
add to both sides. You're going to add 4x to both sides of the equation. Now on the left, you have to decide, well, is there anything I can combine it with? Like, is there any is there any x squareds on the left? Sorry, you can't see that. Is there any x squareds on the left?
No.
No. So that means you just write it 4x squared minus 11x plus 3.
Mhm. Okay.
And then on the right, it's 0 because there's nothing left over.
Mhm. And okay, so I have it down.
Okay, so now you can
Mhm.
identify A, B, and C. A, B, and C are the numbers in front of x squared x
Mhm. That would be
and the other number.
4. That would be
Okay,
4. And for B, negative 11. For C, 3.
very good.
4 and 3. Okay.
All right, so good news, I guess, is that we're done with the we'll move on to some different stuff now.
Okay.
All right, so number 7.
Okay.
Okay, so this one says to use the quadratic formula.
Mhm.
Quadratic formula. What do you remember about the quadratic formula?
From what we were, I don't remember too much about it.
Okay, so here is the quadratic formula. It's minus b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. What do you think a, b, and c refer to?
Uh, B, C. I think A would refer to the first number,
Yes. Yes.
and B the second, and C the last.
Okay, can you give me the values of a, b, and c from the equation?
Negative 4.
Whoa, where are you getting, where do you see a
Oh,
negative 4 up here?
oh, sorry. I was looking at the formula.
Okay,
I thought it was- That's my bad. That would be 1,
okay, I like it. B,
negative 6,
okay, and c.
5.
All right, very good. Now, this formula is very difficult for most students to do correctly the first few times. And the reason is lots of places that you can go wrong. Okay. The first one is when you substitute in. So B, it's really B is really in parentheses. So B is negative 6, it's negative negative 6. But B is the part that goes in parentheses. The negative comes along with it.
Mhm.
Plus or minus. And again, it's better to assume the variables are in parentheses. Okay, so that's negative 6 squared, 4 times 1 times 5.
Uh-huh.
Follow that one more time, however you do that with your finger on your paper. Make sure you know why I'm putting these numbers in parentheses for these variables for B, A, and C.
But, I guess we would be multiplying them.
No. Do you know? I'm asking if you see where they're coming from.
Yeah, I see where the numbers are.
Okay, and then on the bottom here, it's 2 times
2A.
what? 2 times what number?
2 times 1.
Yes, very good.
2 times 1. Okay.
Okay, now just because you wrote it doesn't mean you've done it. It's like that's just the setup. That's like going to the part store and you get all the part, and now you got to assemble it. The place
Okay.
to focus is under the square root. So I'm going to copy that. We're just going to look at that over here on the left. So order of operations, exponent first. So you're going to square first.
Square 4, 1, and 5. Okay.
That's
Just writing it down.
36. Yep. Okay. Let me know when you're caught up.
I'm caught up.
All right. Now we have to multiply 4 times 1 times 5. Can you multiply those three numbers for me, please?
20.
20. What is 36 minus 20?
16.
16. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the formula over here on the right. Minus 6 is positive 6. Plus minus 16. That's the work we just did on the left.
Mhm.
All divided by 2.
Okay. That would be 3.
Wait. Don't simplify here. There's a few things that could go wrong. So I want to clarify those.
Okay.
What is the square root of 16?
4.
4. Okay. Now you started dividing, but you have to do it after you add and then subtract. There's really two things here. There's 6 plus 4 divided by 2, 6 minus 4 divided by 2.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So can I solve these
Now you can
two?
do it. Now, yeah, you have to, but you have to do the top first because there's really what's called implied parentheses there.
Mhm. Okay, so that would be 10 over 2, and then 2 over 2.
Yes.
10 over 2, 2 over 2. Okay. And then we would divide from that.
Well, yeah, I just heard you did that. 10 divided by 2. What does that become?
5.
Okay. And then what's the other one?
1. Right.
Yes.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay. Take a minute here. We'll jump on the next problem here.
Okay.
All right. So 2 more. Got 9 minutes. We should be able to get.
Mhm.
Well, actually, I have no idea what this problem is asking. So this might take a minute here for me to figure out. Separate the number 18 into 2 parts where the product of the parts is 77.
So
Okay. Oh, I see. So they want it to add to 18, multiply the 77.
confused how they expect us to understand this.
Well, you're supposed to have a mastery of the English language, right? And apparently,
I
like, I don't have one. I don't have it. I had no idea what this was talking about.
This is very confusing.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. But hey, it's right in front of us now. So I'll give you an example. Like 12 plus 6. Does that add to 18?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Now what does it multiply to?
Oh. That would be 60. No, that would not be 60. That would be times 10, and then 6. That'll be 72.
Okay. That's too small. So now how about 10 plus 8?
That would be 18. That would be 80, which would be too big.
Okay. So it's got to be somewhere in between those two.
And that would be 13. 7. 20. No, that's too big.
How about 11 and 7?
Oh. Yeah, okay.
Remember the bed's too soft, the bed's too hard. It's just right.
Mm-hmm. Goldilocks.
Yes, yes. It's kind of that here. So the two numbers, actually what's interesting is this question doesn't even have a question. It doesn't even say like, what are the numbers? But you probably ought to say somewhere that it's 11 and 7.
So you're saying that they are not giving the full information or the full question?
Yes.
Wow. Yep. They want me to be some elite Einstein. I'm pretty
All right.
disappointed.
Last question here. Let's see if we can get it up, get it done here. Let me get it up on the screen. All right. So a rectangle has an area of 105 square feet. Okay, so it's good to draw something like that. The area is 105. If the sum of the length and the width, so we'll go length and width, and sum means they add. So the L plus W is 26. Okay,
Mhm.
you follow that? But the area which is L times W is 105.
Yeah. This is L times W equals 1. Okay. Interesting. And okay. So a rectangle of the sum of the length and the width. Find the dimensions. Okay. Let's see. How would we find the dimensions? 105 divided by 26? No.
So like for example, did you try 10 plus 16?
That's 16. That would be 26.
Right? But what's 10 times 16?
10 times 16. That's 160, right?
60, good. So notice that's too big. So let's go something else. Let's go like you know, pick a number smaller than 10.
8.
Okay, so 8 plus 18.
16.
And what's 8
26.
times 18?
8 times 18. 144. Too big. Okay, so
All right,
maybe
and that's too big again. So we need something smaller than 8.
let's see. Is that 4? Then let's try 6.
6 plus 20 is 26. 6 times 20 is 120. Still too large.
Okay, let's see. 4 plus 22. Then 4 times 22. That's 88. Too small. 7. No, let's do 5 plus 20. No, plus. We need 26 plus 21 times 21. 105. There we go.
Now, I want to leave you with the correct way to do this otherwise, because I think that while this is correct, I think they wanted to do it slightly different. So uh, L ends up equaling 26 minus W. And then you put this back in here. So it's 26 minus W times W equals 105. And this ends up being W squared minus 26W plus 105 equals 0. And factors to W minus 5, W minus 21 equals 0.
Mhm. 1 equals 0. Okay. Wow. Oh, wow. Okay, so that's our answer. W minus 5.
Well, the
So-
answer is 5 and 21. I mean, it
Uh-huh.
asks for the dimensions 5 feet, 21 feet.
Mhm. Okay. Well, looks like. All right. So if that's all we could do. So the time we have.
All right. So good job today, Josh. Got a lot done today in our lesson. Going to stop the recording